In 1858, 12 years after La Salette, and about a dozen years before Pontmain, was the apparition at Lourdes. And I'm not doing much on this because there's been, the famous movie on it, Song of Bernadette, and the book, and so many people have been to Lourdes, and it is so popular because of all the miracles there. So it attracts many, many people, and I don't have to try to go into that apparition, but of course it's a very important one of Mary's mosaic. But in a way, it's sort of like, okay, the one at La Salette wasn't being received well because she actually complains of a lot of the sins there. So at Lourdes, she kind of takes the more gentle approach, and she just comes with a lot of gifts. So she brings lots of miracles and tries to soften the people to get their interest in listening to her messages. I'm just going to pick out a few things. We'll just go through these apparitions very briefly here. At one apparition I found in a book, Bernadette said that Mary looked at everyone while they were praying the rosary, and she looked with so much love and affection at people. And sometimes as she was looking about the crowd, she seemed to stop at one of the people and say, it's like her gaze would rest on there, and her expression would be like she had recognized a friend. So that's so beautiful, because Mary pays attention to our prayers, and she knows who we are. And those of us who try to be her friends by listening to her messages, she is gazing on us with special affection. And I think that's like an echo at Pontmain, where it was even more dramatic, where she was looking at all that beautiful group of 60 devout Catholics with great affection and smiles. So there were 18 apparitions, and there were 14 like in a row almost every day, and then there was a pause, and then there were 2 more. And so the great suspense was to find out who it was. She doesn't say much, and she doesn't give her name in those first 14 days. So at the Grotto, first apparition was on a Thursday, and that's when we celebrate the Feast of Lourdes, February 11th, because it was in February 11th, 1858, that Mary first appeared there, and this was in Lent. Bernadette recites the Rosary, and Mary smiles, and she bows to Bernadette. So she asked her to come again. And so, or maybe Bernadette just feels, there were no words, so maybe Bernadette just feels inclined to go there. So on Sunday, Bernadette felt she should go there, and she was told to take some holy water to sprinkle it on the Virgin. But then Bernadette doesn't return again for a few more days, so I guess I introduced this wrong. So there were a couple days that they were spread apart, and then it starts on Thursday the 18th. Bernadette brought some paper because she was asked to. Some ladies were interested. They thought because Mary was wearing a white dress and a blue sash, they thought she was a child of Mary, which stems from the apparition, and we talked about the miraculous medal where Mary appeared at the Immaculate Conception. So there was a great movement of children of Mary. There's some devout ladies who heard about Bernadette talking about this lady in the grotto wearing this outfit, and so they thought maybe she was from purgatory and she was a child of Mary asking for prayers. So they send Bernadette off with some pen and paper and ask her to write down her name or her message. And Mary, it says, just laughed, and she said, "Will you do me the favor of coming here for a fortnight?" This was extremely courteous language. In the French, there's different ways of talking to different classes of people, and so you never talk like this. This is like how you address nobility, the upper class. But Mary was using this kind of grammar with Bernadette, who was at the bottom of the barrel in French society. It's just very extraordinary. It caught people's attention, that Mary was treating these poor people like Bernadette with great respect. And so Mary goes on, "I cannot promise you happiness in this world, only in the next." Then I'll just pick out significant things just a moment on these apparitions. On Friday, she comes, and Bernadette hears demons screaming, "Get out of here, get out." They don't want that apparition of Mary in there. On Saturday, the next day, Bernadette is taught a prayer for herself alone. She never revealed that prayer. On Sunday, the first Sunday of Lent, Mary says, "Pray to God for sinners." This was her first public message at Lourdes. It's in Lent. So Mary had come just before Lent, about a week before, and then before Ash Wednesday. And then the day after Ash Wednesday, she started appearing. And now we're at the first Sunday of Lent that she says, "Pray to God for sinners." On Tuesday, 2 days later, Mary gives secrets. and we never know what it is. Bernadette doesn't reveal that. Wednesday, the apparition stops when someone irreverently touches the briar, but she reappears farther back in the grotto. Now Mary says, penance, penance, penance. So she called for prayer for sinners, and now she calls for penance. And the next day she makes Bernadette start doing penance. Go and drink at the spring and wash yourselves in it. Go and eat that weed. Bernadette couldn't even find a spring. It was just a lot of mud. So she comes back dirty, and she says that weed was tough and nasty, and she had to spit it out. On Saturday, Mary tells her, go and kiss the ground as a penance for sinners. So Bernadette, in ecstasy, crawls up and down a steep place, kissing the ground over and over. And then the lady asked for a chapel. The next day, Sunday, Bernadette kisses the ground again many times and repeats the penance of walking on her knees. I'm calling this out because, of course, Hollywood doesn't really emphasize much of this, and the Hollywood actress Jennifer, what's her name, she didn't go doing a lot of obvious penance in the movie. So we don't get these messages that we need to get from Lourdes because they're important. But of course, the world obscures them and waters them down, and they're watered down with the miracle water of the spring. And we forget really that she called this was a whole apparition in Lent for penance and prayer. On Monday, Mary noticed that she had exchanged rosaries with someone who asked her, give me my rosary and give me your rosary and you take my rosary to the apparition. Bernadette had complied, but Mary did not approve this. Mary either wanted to keep Bernadette humble with her poor rosary, or else she just wanted her to observe poverty with poor beads, not this fancy, sparkling rosary. On Tuesday, March 2nd, the lady asked for a procession to come. And again, this was kind of an act of penance because it took a lot of humility for men in those days to join this procession. A lot of them struggled with it. St. John Vianney sometimes demanded it as a penance for some of these men who had been out of the church a long time and came to his confessional making their confession. He said, now you got to let it be known that you're converted, so go walk in a procession. And it was very hard for people to do that. Of course, for the poor people, it wasn't such a big deal, but the procession was actually a public expression of faith in a country that was quickly losing its faith. And next, on Wednesday, March 3rd, the apparition occurs in the afternoon because people had been doing some hanky-panky that night. They had been coming to the apparition as a pilgrimage, but they were just there for fun and games. And we don't know what went on Tuesday night, but Mary did not like whatever was going on. She said they had dishonored the grotto. And so when Bernadette appeared in the morning and all the people wanted to see the apparition, nothing happened. And so all those people who had gathered to see something went away disappointed. But later in the afternoon, Bernadette felt this interior call. And so Bernadette went almost alone. Just a few people noticed she was going to the grotto. And Mary explained why she hadn't shown herself with those people present. The next day, Thursday, March 4th, is the last of this fortnight. Mary had asked for her to come 2 weeks, and it's the last day, and Mary still did not reveal her name. So there was some disappointment. And the pastor had asked Bernadette to keep asking her for her name, and even asking her for a sign. He wanted the roses in the grotto to burst into bloom. But after 2 weeks, there was absolutely nothing. And so Bernadette, was disappointed, but there was nothing they could do to prove that it was Mary who came. But during this time, the spring had come. That spring that Mary asked her to wash herself, there were some healings that began happening. So already there was some activity going on here with miracles. So nothing happened, but the people felt that it wasn't over. There was just a sense that it wasn't over. And the Feast of the Annunciation was a big Mary feast coming up later in the month. So they kind of expected that maybe there would be another apparition on the 25th of March, which was 2 weeks later. And sure enough, Bernadette felt that interior call, and she went to the grotto. And this time, I think she asked the lady fervently 3 times, what is your name? And finally, Mary said, I am the Immaculate Conception. And they said she didn't know that it was totally foreign to her. And Mary said this, I should mention that, in the dialect. This whole apparition went on in the local dialect of Lourdes, too, because France was just full of little pockets of people. It was not the united global country that we think of today. And so Mary was speaking in something that was closer to Spanish, but Bernadette hardly understood what she said. So she kept repeating it all the way. She left the grotto immediately and almost ran to the rectory where the priest was, and she burst in and she said in this patois, "I am the Immaculate Conception." And the priest was quite startled. It was a startling thing. And as I mentioned in another conference lately, it didn't even make grammatical sense, because you don't go around saying, "I am conception." You would say, I am the fruit of the conception of someone. I am conceived immaculately. But to just say, "I am the Immaculate Conception," was an extraordinary statement. But the pastor was moved because that dogma had just been declared 4 years earlier, and little Bernadette, who hardly knew her catechism or couldn't read, she probably didn't know anything about that. She said later she knew nothing about that. And that whole thing was the fruit of the miraculous medal vision, because Mary had wanted this medal promulgated which said, "We have recourse to your Immaculate Conception. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee." And so after that miraculous medal apparition, there were like 20 years of great and growing devotion to the Immaculate Conception. And so it became dogmatically defined in that era. Rome and the bishops said, okay, this is the time for this dogma. And so now, 4 years after the dogma, Mary seems to be confirming that dogma and acknowledging that it was important to her. So that was it, March 25th. They thought that was the end. It was the epitome, the culmination. They did not really expect anything else. But less than a month later, it was a Wednesday after Easter, Bernadette feels drawn to the grotto, and she goes there. And I don't think there was anything there. It was just Mary was there for her. And it was kind of mysterious, why Mary picked that day and just to be with Bernadette. There weren't that many people came with her because it was unexpected, and whoever just happened to see Bernadette running off to the grotto may have followed her. But not much went on. But years later, it will be exactly the Wednesday after Easter that Bernadette will die. So this was like a blessing on her death day in many ways. It would be 21 years later Bernadette would die on this anniversary. It wouldn't be the same date, but it would be the Wednesday after Easter. And then, again, it was unexpected. On Friday, the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Mary seems to call Bernadette. And by now the grotto is all barricaded. It's illegal. The government doesn't want this. It was a very secular government, didn't want apparitions or didn't want any devotions going on. So there was a lot of persecution of the apparition at this point, and the grotto is all barricaded, and Bernadette can't even get to it. The closest she can do is go across the little river. It's twilight, the sun is setting, she can't see much, it's all dark. And so, but she says when she got there, it was like the old times. It was like the grotto was right in front of her, like Our Lady was right there. And she said, never had Mary looked so beautiful. And Mary was smiling, and she was silent. But for Bernadette, it was Mary was saying au revoir. It was the last time. And it was just a very gentle, loving goodbye that Bernadette experienced. And eventually a Carmelite monastery was built on that spot. And Bernadette said she always wanted to become a Carmelite, but she never had the health. So she entered a milder congregation of teaching and nursing sisters. And so, again, the message here is prayer and penance. And there was a great emphasis on poverty because, again, Mary had chosen a very poor child. Like she had at La Salette, there was a very poor child there. And here, Bernadette, her family, the miller, because he couldn't read well, they couldn't keep books very well. He was a hard worker and honest, but he and his wife just couldn't really operate the mill in a way that was they could compete well, and so they did not balance the books, and they eventually lost the mill. And so he ended up bringing his 4 children with no income, no employment. So he ended up moving into a jail, and the jail was so bad that it was too bad, the city said, for the prisoners. So here it was, this family of 4 was living in a jail cell that was so bad that even the prisoners, it was too bad even for prisoners. And he was just taking whatever work he could, and the children were eating very badly. One of the children actually died of malnutrition. Bernadette, her growth is stunted. She has asthma all her life. She's sickly. She dies young. And one of the children, the only reason he was doing well is because he was in a church one day when a lady was praying there, and he was making a lot of noise, moving chairs around the votive candles, and the lady was kind of annoyed, and she couldn't have to look at him, and he was scraping the wax off the floors and eating the wax. And so this woman took him home and gave him a good meal, and she told him where her house was. And so he did not want to, he never would tell her who his parents were or anything. He was too embarrassed to make it known that his parents were so poor. So he just came there almost every day for almost a year, and she fed him a good meal. And he never told his parents that he was getting fed somewhere else. He took his little portion of bread like the others, but he was making it. It was only afterwards, when the crowds were coming to the home, and this woman came to the home of Bernadette, to hear the accounts of the apparitions, that she spotted this little boy, and their eyes met, and they realized who each other was. And so at that point, the boy didn't dare go back to the house. He didn't want it known that he didn't want his parents to be humbled in that way. There was so much shame and poverty, and these parents were dealing with all that burden. And now that they were famous because of the apparition, people wanted to give them money and get them out of there. But Bernadette was very much telling the family, no, we can't accept any money. And that seems to be part of the secrets of Mary, that Mary said strictly, no, you're not going to make money on this apparition because that will ruin my messages, And so Bernadette was very strict on that. And so it was very, very awkward for the pastor, because now he couldn't help this family, and they were even less work. They couldn't even go and get work. The mother used to do laundry, but now they had all these people coming, and so they were actually worse off for a while, and more poor and more hungry. So it was a while. Finally they did some things and got the miller his own mill eventually, but by then Bernadette had already entered the convent. So it was a loud cry to everyone who came to see the injustices of society at that time, and how poor they were, and how uneducated, and how Catholics weren't taking care of Catholics, and just looking the other way and looking down on these people. So I think there is a real social justice message going on here from Mary, and also a call to poverty, that this is part of penance, and we should embrace it lovingly because it's not degrading in God's eyes. So these two apparitions were our reflections today. And we'll come again next week to look again at this mosaic.